Okay, some people come up and they're like, "Oh, have you heard of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior?" and like try to convert you. You are like, "Have you heard of Violet Evergarden?" Like
Episode 10.
episode 10. Would you like to be converted? Would you like to reach enlightenment?
Dude, it's so easy. Just that episode will be over for everyone. It's great.
She's just trying to kill everyone with feels, man. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Josei Junkies, an anime podcast where we talk about anything and everything. I'm Iso.
I'm Kane, and welcome back to our 11th episode. Wow.
Woohoo! Damn, we made it
Can't
this
believe we
far.
made past 10.
Dude, I want to say I believe in both of us. Okay, no, I did believe in both of us, but
Oh, thank you.
that little doubt where it's like, man, do I have enough motivation to make it this far?
Oh, sorry to hear.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
we're here now.
sorry. Well, we made it. We hyped each other up enough, so here we are. Yeah. And then recently I finally watched the Jujutsu Kaisen movie.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Bro.
I finally got around to it.
Bro, why did it take you so long?
Cause this season was so packed with anime, and then it finally came out on Crunchyroll, and I was like, okay, I finally have time to watch it after I caught up with all this season's anime.
Oh, it's because you didn't watch it in theater, right? When it came out?
No, I haven't been out of the house because of COVID, so I was like, I'm gonna watch it in the comfort of my own warm home.
Bro, I think I watched it at least 2 to 3 times.
In theaters?
Different friends. Yeah.
Wow. Damn, girl. Got all that money. Cash, cash, cash.
Bro, it's not that. I'm just trying to show my support to make sure we have way more anime movies coming out. But it was really fun. I think the first time we went, we dressed up as the Jujutsu Kaisen, female version.
Oh!
It's so fun, going with friends.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then that one, we just trying to observe and absorb all the information. And then the second time, my friend didn't go, and I was like, "Let's go! I'll freaking take you." And
I
it's better
got
the
you.
second time
Oh.
because I got to enjoy everything and rather than you're just like, "Oh my god, new thing, new thing." You're trying to catch up
Hmm.
with what's going on and the plot and everything. But the second time, because you already know, you can just kind of enjoy all the little details, like the little music and the change in expression and little things like that.
Oh, so you really get a good second look at it. Did you watch it in dub or sub?
I watched it both in dub. Oh, sub.
I
Not
think
dub.
Crunchyroll only had dub, so then I went out to look for it for sub because I didn't like.
Oh, really?
I don't know the dub, the voices. At least as soon as I heard it, I was like, I'm not feeling this. It took me out of the movie, and I was like, I don't know if I could do it. So I don't know how
Oh.
good they might have actually been because I didn't watch it in dub. What did you think of the dub?
I didn't watch it in dub. Sorry.
Oh wait,
I
you
got
only watched the
confused.
sub. My bad. I was
Yeah.
confused. Brain
Hello?
cell.
How could I watch it in dub when Takahiro Sakurai is get to talk so much shit in this whole thing? Of course I'm gonna watch it in sub.
Oh, you like the Trash King? The Trash King?
Of course.
Who's
Okay, I don't like him per se. Okay, I just like his VA a lot,
I
and he
thought
just had so much talk in this one. He talks so much shit.
I thought Gojo was trash, but this is why they're best friends, man. This is why. I
Bro,
was
that's his homie.
you don't understand when you watch the series, but okay, I might have looked this way, but you don't understand when you watch the series, but when you watch the movie, you're like, man, this guy is trashy as fuck.
Yeah.
You thought
That's some
Gojo was
cult
bad?
leader shit right there.
Drew, that's how he gets all his followers, all his loyal followers.
Bro, that girl that he helped save, that was me. I was like, "Excuse me, can I marry you? You're
Like,
hot as hell."
no, first she was like, you're creepy as hell, but I kind of like that.
Oh. Ooh.
He was like, Mom, let's go. Let's not. And he was like, then after she's like, Mom, let's, please. Let me
Yeah,
go get
literally.
another. Let me get another curse.
Hell yeah. Curse me.
Curse
Follow me
me.
forever. Who was your favorite character in the movie?
My favorite character. I like Yuta a lot. I liked him a
Oh my god,
lot.
I did too. God,
Yeah.
no, when he first came up, I was like, "Oh, no, I hope it's not one of those, like, annoying, weak main character who just
Yeah.
has, like, a random lucky power up and whatever," but you definitely see him grow stronger, even though in the beginning he was that stereotypical character, you know? The wimpy,
Yeah.
scared
I
character.
didn't I didn't realize how fast his training went by because they were like, "Oh, you trained this," and then suddenly he was like all powerful from knowing like not how to use his curse at all, and I was like, "This is wild."
Right?
Like, I did not expect him to get this kind of power up and this kind of confidence. Like when he has his final like fight scene, I was like, "You are so confident. Like, who are you?"
I know. I think what it is, like, they just triggered him too much where he's just like, "Well, fuck it. I'm ready to go all in,
Yo,
die."
ain't that the secret to every shonen? You just have to trigger the main character enough until they invoke the power of friendship, and then become OP and destroy everything. Literally
Yeah.
everything.
You just gotta hurt the ones they care about, then they become all OP and somehow go powerful. Bro, but the part where he was using, Inumaki's headphone, he was hot as shit, dude. That was
Dude.
sexy of him. Like, the whole time, I was like, "Oh, he's just baby," and then all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, okay, Yuta.
Oh.
I see
Dude, it's like those people who have like a whatever voice and then they have like a deep voice and you're like, oh, hello. Hello.
you." Mm-mm.
Who?
Inumaki too. Inumaki was just a tease the whole show.
Dude, Inumaki is like the under like you
So
want so much.
cute.
I want to know so much more about Inumaki because you know so little about him. Like when they give his
Mhm.
backstory and you're like, no, you deserve more, my
He's
onigiri
so
boy.
cute. I know, and the fact that he doesn't wanna curse other people and he's so kind. What a good boy. I love him. Honestly, they create a lot of characters that is hard to hate
Yeah,
with
for
this
sure.
show. Like, I'm trying to think because I don't really even hate Keto. He's, like, kinda annoying, but I don't know, I don't hate him.
It's
I can
because
see him as a human, you know? Like, he's been through shit. He's depressed, and, like, he's just like, "I don't wanna live in this world anymore like this."
that's true. Like
Yeah,
they
and you
come
see
to
his
some conclusion.
backstory, you know, and stuff. You just bond with them.
Well, it's like in the fact. I mean, they didn't even really give his. Oh, that was one thing I didn't like. The movie didn't really give his backstory. They just kind of gave flashbacks of him and like Gojo and like back when they were like students, but they didn't really explain
Mm,
how he turned out the way he did, other than like the world was shitty. You know, like I felt like there was something more that
mm.
triggered it, and I kind of wanted to see that. But maybe they explain it more in the series or the manga because I haven't
Yeah,
seen.
I think that will probably show up in the 2nd season, and if they don't, then that's bullshit, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll explain more.
I mean, I was really confused when they like. Okay, we're definitely saying this is all spoilers because we're gonna talk about the whole movie. But like,
Well, duh.
yeah, when they killed off Ghetto, and I was like, um, but how is he dead if this is the prologue? Because he's definitely
Yeah,
alive. So I spoiled myself because I really had to know. I was like, I'm so confused, and feel free to look it up yourself if you want. I won't spoil that here, but I looked it up and I'm like, okay, now I really want to know his backstory because I want to know what
yeah,
happened to make
yeah.
him to the point he is in the movie. And like even in the end, remember they has when Gojo tells him the words and it's all silent and then you don't know what he says. So then I
Mm.
like looked up. I was like, okay, what did he say? Like, where he's like, you couldn't even curse me at the
Did you
end.
find anything, though? Like, what Gojo actually said? Because we don't know, like, I don't think that has ever been reviewed. That was, like what is it? It was only available for, like, a few people, right, who won some award in Japan, who got the actual transcript of the original manga page
I
for
have
what Gojo said.
no idea. I just know that from what I saw, it's like people were speculating. I think that like the dude said in an interview, um, when they asked him like, "Oh, what did Gojo say to Geto at the end?" and they were like, "Oh, he already says it in the episode." So then people like went on detective mode, and then they found out they were like, "Oh, it's probably that like you're my only best friend,"
Oh, that's so
because he says it
sad.
like at the end, like he was my only best friend, and then people are speculating that was like what he said to him before he killed him off for good.
Bro, I just wanna say, I was on the freaking side of TikTok where after I watched the movie, it's like that song I sent you. and then it's the sound where it's just them saying each other's name really sadly, and then I just keep watching those video and crying myself
Dude,
because
that
honestly, it's
song.
so sad. That song triggers me.
Dude, that song, if you just look up that song, it's gonna be like every anime sad moment ever. Cause it's the Are We Too Young for This? The one by the neighborhood, was it God, I can't remember the name. It starts with an S, I wanna say. But it's like, Are We Too Young for This? It's like the lyrics. I'm just like, yeah, we're all too young. I'm too young for this, okay? This hurts. It's always too soon. Too soon.
Oh my god. He's like, Suguru. It's like, Satoru.
No, I'm out here like, gay.
For sure gay. Okay, okay. I just want to say the reason why you need to have the theater experience is because apparently it's a whole thing. Like, especially during the Demon Slayer, like people are just doing stupid stuff during the whole show. I don't think like within the first few weeks of the showing because people are just watching it, but the people who are going there again for like the third, fourth showing, then they're like bringing like stupid props and stuff and like making it a whole theater experience. Like, oh, what did your theater do different? You know?
Oh my god, you guys watch it. So I've like, I don't know. Okay, for me, when I watch stuff, there are a few things that I want to watch more than once because I feel like, I don't know. I guess I kind of feel bored if I already know what's happening. So if there isn't something I'm specifically looking for, like it's like a very complicated movie where there's things I could miss and watch again, I'm just like, I don't want to watch it again. So like for people who can go in and watch it again, like the same like if it was dub and sub, maybe I could watch it again. But if it's like a sub and sub again, I don't know if I could do it. So I'm like
I think
amazed
they
that
go
people do
with
it.
different groups of people, and
Mm,
then people go there for almost like kind of like a community,
mm,
like a oh we all like you know,
mm,
Jujutsu Kaisen. And then at least I don't my theater didn't do this, but during the part where like Gojo is silent, right? And he's just like saying something,
mm.
then someone in the theater will be like, Yowaimo, you know, like stupid shit like
What does
that.
that mean? What is Yuaimo?
You that's what Gojo says usually.
Oh, that he's like
That's kind of like
weak?
no, no, like it's just like in the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen, that's what he said. It's just like, "Oh, you're weaker than me," when he fought I think the guy with the the volcano head.
Oh,
It's
that
just a
one
meme.
demon. Yeah, that one
Yeah, yeah,
cursed.
yeah. It was just like a meme, but then basically they said it during that really serious moment, so the whole theater's just cracking up.
Oh, I didn't even
So
know it was a
people would do
meme.
stupid stuff like that, or like, you know, during his silent moment, last word to get to, he'll be like, "Aishiteru." You know, someone would just whisper that hella loud, and then we're all just like fucking cracking up. You know, it's kind of like
Yeah,
that. It's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
moment of like unity and community where we're all like, oh,
Yeah.
having fun and just being weebs. For me, I was the annoying loud one. Because in our theater, I think it was like the very few last showing, and like there was already a few people there, and I was joking with the people behind me already. But during the whole time, anytime that guys were being hot, they were like, "Yeah, yeah, I bet you like that, huh?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I do!" And they would just be like screaming at each other in the theater. And then
Oh
when
my
Maki has
god.
her moment, I'm like, I bet you like that fan service, huh?" They're like, "Yeah, go Maki!" You know, like it's fun.
Man, you have such interactive ones. I feel like all the anime movies I've been to in theaters, like there hasn't been much what's the word? Like audience interaction.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's because like a lot of the ones I saw, there weren't even that many people in the audience. Usually, like a lot of times, I feel like it was just like me and the people I went with.
Yeah. But
Which
that's even more fun. Then you have the whole theater to yourself, you know?
that's true. That's true.
I love that. I would totally have a theater to myself and just play Violet Evergarden episode 10.
Dude, you would do that without the theater. You do that without the theater.
Definitely just do that.
Dude, you
But
know
I
some
would
people.
definitely
Okay, you know some people come up and they're like, "Oh, have you heard of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior?" and like try to convert you. You are like, "Have you heard of Violet Evergarden?" Like
episode 10.
episode 10. Would you like to be converted? Would you like to reach enlightenment?
Dude, it's so easy. Just that episode will be over for everyone. It's great.
Just trying to kill everyone with feels, man. I thought we
No, it's just like freaking Attack on Titan season 1, episode 1. It's like the first it's like, oh, it's gonna just get you like
dude,
shocked and you're like, I have to watch. It's like Game of Thrones episode 1, you know?
was episode 1 even shocking? I thought I forget what happened in episode 1.
For what?
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, episode 1 was so shocking. It was when the kid fell off the tower.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right?
I
That
mean,
was pretty,
okay.
like
I mean, compared to the rest of the series, it's kind of
you're
like,
right, but that was, like,
yeah.
the first, like, really intense, shocking moment where we're like, "Oh, shoot, this has never been kinda shown in media
I was
before."
trying to think of like who died in the first episode.
Well, it was
That's bad.
presumed the child,
I mean, did he die though?
right? Anyways,
Bitch,
it's
I lived.
definitely I'm so glad you watched it. I really like Yuta with Maki too. I think they're really cute together.
No, it's him
And
with
of
all
course,
of them.
he's so cute with all, like, he's really cute with the Inumaki
Yeah,
too.
yeah, when he was like, he was scary, and then he's like, no, he's
Yeah,
actually really soft. And I'm like,
he's so nice.
now I'm soft.
Yeah. I think he's kind of like the badass character that it's like the senpai will come back and be like, "Oh shit, the OP." Because isn't he one of the rare ones where he's like, is it S class?
Who?
Like S grade sorcerer?
Who's in S
Yuta?
grade? Utah? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
He's a special
Oh, special. Yeah,
special grade.
special class with Gojo, right?
Mm-hmm. Kojo and him, and then I think Geto is too. That's why Geto is
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
oh man, oh man. And then wait, is he? I wonder if he's still considered special after the
Rika
end.
left.
Yeah, dude, I cried.
Did you?
I'm such a fucking sucker for that shit. Like I know it's gonna be. They know I'm gonna. I'm just weak.
Oh my god. I actually didn't cry as violently as I thought I would. I cried way more violently at Geto and Gojo's part. And then usually it's after and listening to all the songs and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff, I
yeah.
cried violently.
I cried violently. I actually didn't cry for Gojo and Geto during the movie, but I cried after when I watched like all the stuff. But I did cry in the movie from the Rika thing when it was like he cursed
I
her, and I was like, and then she was still like, don't be sad, and just like went, oh
Yeah.
god,
Don't come to me so soon.
yeah. I was just like,
Bro, I'm curious how he's still strong because he's like an OP, right?
yeah,
Character or whatever
mm,
from an OP clan.
mm. Well, very very distantly, the same one as Gojo, right?
Mm, so interesting. Yeah, I didn't read that far because I want to watch the anime. But now I'm thinking maybe I should, so then I don't have so many surprises.
But surprises are great, man. That's what keeps you reading. This is why I
Seen
can't.
those memes where it's like any ounce of feminism leaving my body the moment Toge gets Toji gets animated.
Wait, which one's Toji? Toji.
Megumi's dad.
Oh!
Oh, you
Oh.
love the dark hair, don't you?
Dude, I haven't met him yet because I only watched the anime, but I've seen him and I was like, man,
Oh,
I'm
I've
into
seen
it.
him. I've seen
I'm
so
into
much of
it.
him.
I'm into it.
Oh no, not he's real DILF though. Everyone's like, yeah, Gojo and Nanami. I'm like, no, they're not even DILF.
No,
You know?
that's still. Dude,
Yeah, Toji is real DILF.
tangent, but like, okay, there's this character from Final Fantasy 15. Previously 13 verses, and it his name's Noctis, right? He's like the main character.
Mm.
And there's like a part of
Everyone
it.
knows Noctis.
I hope so now. But there's a point in the when he like gets older and there's like an older version
Daddy
of him.
Noctis?
Yeah, Daddy Noctis, right? Okay. So I tried to show my friend. I was like, okay, wait, like, I have to show you what Daddy Noctis looks like, right? So I Google it and I regret because you know what ended up showing up was actual Daddy Noctis. Like Noctis's actual dad, who's like an old man who is not a DILF, at least at that point in time, not a DILF.
Lame.
And I was like,
Totally lame.
this was not the DILF I was looking for. Or it was not the daddy I was looking for. Mistakes were made.
Oh my god. Yeah. Why are we into this? I'm like confused. Like Toji is on the level of toxic, it's like the highest, if not even.
Are you really questioning why we're into toxic men? Do you see me blinking at you?
I don't see anything. My eyes are closed.
Don't worry, you can feel it. The toxicity bleeds.
I don't see anything. My eyes are closed.
Man, do you ever just, watch a whole series because one of the characters you're like, man, I like how they look, and then you
Hell
finish it,
yeah! What the hell? Who
and you finish
hasn't
it,
done
and
that,
then you're like,
bro?
why did I waste my time watching this for this one person? Like, this was such a shit series. But I did it.
Nah, it's never a waste. Eye candy is so hard to come by. We will take it anytime we can get it, okay?
Man.
Thank you for the food.
Gochusou-sama.
Yeah. Thank you for feeding us. I'm so happy because it's the little things. Like I went with my guy friends to watch the Jujutsu Kaisen movie in theater, and they were like, they don't really understand, right? And I was like,
Mhm.
just look at it. This is the female gaze. This is like the mood of
This is
everything.
me
The like the
looking. I am the
movement.
female.
Yeah. And then I'm like, just look at the way they draw their hands. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's hot shit. It's the mood. And they're like, oh, they don't really get it.
Do you think guys understand the hand thing? Like, I don't know. I feel like girls all understand the hand thing, but I'd never hear guys talk about hands. Or do
It's
they?
because they're just focused on tits and boobs
Is that
and
it?
thighs.
Do they ever focus
Isn't
on
it?
like? Do they ever focus on hands for girls, like in animation wise? Like for guys, I know sometimes they do, not always, but
Oh,
I've never
I
thought
don't
about it.
think so. Maybe for them, our hands are their boobs, you know?
Is that how it
Maybe.
works? Our hands are their boobs.
I mean, it could be something else because actually, I like pecs.
So
I
so
like to look at anime boobies,
from your
male boobies,
logic, then the ideal scene would be
boobies.
watching boobs being grabbed because then you get both the hands and the boobs.
Oh, you mean they grab their own boobs?
I mean, I guess there's that too. I was talking about for males and females where you get the compromise, but I guess that works too.
Oh, thinking about it. I don't know. I don't really care about boobs as much as hands.
I
Like
care about
hands is top.
hands.
Hands, hair, and like face is top, and then
I think clavicles too, or like backs.
oh yeah. Well, physically, right?
Yeah,
But I feel like
physically. I mean, aren't these all physical?
I know, but I was thinking, I was like, how much do I care about the face and body versus like the character?
I think
Because like
the
a
hair.
character like Itachi, I don't think I'm like, oh my god, he's so hot. I wonder what his hands
Oh,
look like. For
you
me, I'm
mean
like,
I'm into eye bags?
I and like the eye bag. Come on,
Yeah.
dude. Are we really into the way he looks? He's just not aesthetic, right? But I love him as a character, and I love his whole backstory and everything. So he's still top tier,
One of
you
the
know. So like, if
deepest
we're talking
characters.
shallow, then I guess
I
face and
mean,
hands.
he's still an emo boy. Like, I feel like his look grows on you after you know his backstory. Because, everyone was into Sasuke and Jean's running the family.
Yeah, but those eye bags, that was not the vibes. Okay,
Yo, man, maybe it was
he's
just
hot after we know his backstory.
maybe just foreshadowing us now. Now it's like to look like I can never say this word. Emaciated?
Emaciated?
It's like when you're super sickly
You mean like
looking.
that fashion style, like the
Yeah.
sickly look?
Yeah, like the sickly look.
Uh,
Like, I get no sleep. I don't eat shit. It looks like I'm about to die. Black nail polish. Doesn't he have black nails?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
There we go. Confirmed.
Hot emo shit.
Confirmed. He was an emo boy.
Oh my god. Okay, I guess we do like emo boys.
I mean, it's coming back now. I feel like I've been seeing that on TikTok, right? Like the reemergence of emo. Like they just had
I feel like I like pretty boys back then. I was more into Deidara and Sasori.
Really?
Yeah.
Deidara? Really?
Dude, Deidara was hilarious.
I'm judging you right
And he
now.
was so edgy, like art dude, you know?
He was not edgy. He was a whiny piece of shit. Oh, come on. That's
Okay, and then Sasori's voice. Sasori's voice is Takahiro Sakurai, so of course I'm going to simp, and he was beautiful.
Okay, Sasori I can give to you when you see like how he actually looks. But Deidara? I don't know, man. I got some questions for you.
Who were you into in Naruto?
Naruto, Sasuke, and
Oh my god, no. Ew, I hate that.
Kakashi.
Okay, aesthetically, I liked him because, like, obviously Noctis later on, right? That
Yeah,
was, like, the
yeah,
hot aesthetic
yeah,
and whatever.
yeah,
But, like, he was such a little bitch from the beginning, like,
yeah.
emo.
Yeah, he
Emo,
was an
everything
actual
bad.
emo boy. I mean, who did I like? I feel like I have to look at the list of characters because there's so many characters in Naruto. I can't even think off the top of my head. I liked
Mm.
Zabuza. Oh god,
Neji was popular back then.
I wasn't into Neji. He was whatever to me.
Um,
Mm, I
I
don't
was into
know.
Kurenai. She was hot as shit.
Okay, Kunai was hot. I can give you that, dude. She's still hot. She is
She's
literally milf.
so hot.
She is literally a milf,
She's Oh my god, her aesthetic was so beautiful.
dude. When what's his name when she got together with got smoke. Oh, what's his name? She wanted his
Ah,
uh
ah.
starts with an A. I feel like
Mm,
Asuma.
it's gonna bother.
Asuma
Azuma.
Sarutobi because he's like a monkey. Yeah, Asuma. Yeah. I was like, man, you got this. Damn, boy.
Damn.
Damn.
He
Damn.
was very nice.
He
Very
was
sweet
nice.
boy.
Just goes to show. Personality matters.
Personality is way more important. Let me
Yeah.
think. What other characters
I
did
mean,
I
I feel
like?
like that's true. Like, even you notice with a lot of characters, I'll be like, I won't think much of them, but if I really like their personality, then they just like grow on me, and I'm like, wow, they're really attractive. Like
Yeah,
now they're hot.
they grow on the list.
Yeah. It's like even if they don't look good, like then they somehow become good looking, and I'm just like, how does that? Why? How does that work?
You know that could happen opposite as well, because there are people online, and I relate to this, like where they're like, "Oh my god, Gojo is so hot. Like he has everything, right? The power, the aesthetic, the looks, the height, everything, the voice. But he's such a little shit, and people have memed him so hard on the internet that now people like don't find him as attractive as before."
I get
Does that
that.
make sense?
I think I kind
Where
of
he's
feel
just
that
like a
way.
little troll, or he's just like, "Ha ha ha," like his little like
Yeah.
weird trolly self.
I feel that. I feel like I kind of started going that way, but I don't know, cause I like the joking characters too, who know when to get serious, you know. But I get that. I've also noticed that I think if I look at them too long, then I start to be like, ew. Is that
Oh,
bad? If I
for
look
a
too
character?
long. Yeah, I think even for a character, if I look at them too long, like I get too into it, then I get like bored of it, or it's not even
Oh.
just bored. Like I'll stop wanting to look. Like I'm kind of sick of looking at them.
Oh, I don't get that. I get that with real people.
I get that with real people too, which is sad because I've done that with like even just like friends or stuff. I need my space. Like I'm introvert. I like spending time with people, but if I spend too much time with like the same person, I'll start to just like get annoyed with things. And it's not like out of spite or anything. It's just like I've been around you too long and I think I start getting irritated. So I need like my own space. Is that
Oh,
like a
I see.
cat thing? Is that what cats are like? Why you can't bother them all the time?
Maybe it's probably just like you're like being with you equal me not having my own time. So you bad, bad.
Mm,
You know?
yeah. Or like needing your own space to just like decompress.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that makes sense. I feel like everyone kind of needs that.
Mm, not sure. How interesting. But talking of like movies, have you watched any other movies in theaters?
I try to watch every single anime movie that comes to the theaters near me.
Oh my gosh.
Let me see.
You are committed. They're in theaters for such a short amount of time too.
Yeah, I try to. Oh, I watched the Fruits Basket movie in theater.
Did you?
That one was so
Oh
cute.
my god, the ending of that! I'm just like,
Yeah,
I want a whole
it was
nother movie
so cute.
of just them being happy together. Can we have a
Oh
whole
my
movie of just them being
god.
like,
Kyo is such a good boy. It's so cute. I
dude,
used to like character like Yuki when I was younger, but
uh,
now looking back, Kyo was should have been everything.
Kyo is everything. And also, God, I can't
But
remember
he
any
kinda
of
reminds
them.
me of Inuyasha, as the character.
Just because 'cause they're, like, both animals, one's a dog, one's a cat.
Yeah, but also, like, kinda fiery, wants to fight everything, and,
Mm,
like, Dumbo energy, but actually very
mm,
sensitive kinda
mm,
type, tsundere type, you know?
mm.
But I think Kyo does it very well because he has some depth behind it, whereas Inuyasha is just a Dumbo,
Yeah, I
I think.
definitely see that. No, Kyo is like, cause Kyo has so much back that's, like, what makes
It's 'cause he
Fruits
had
Basket.
backstory and
Yeah,
sadness and,
Fruits
like,
Basket
all of this stuff, right?
is, like, one of my all-time favorite mangas just because of, like, the depth of all the stories and how everyone's stories are, like, interlaced and everything and how, like, relatable it can be to, like, anyone. But, oh,
Mhm.
man. No, dude, okay, I was, like, reading this thing else. It's so true that, like, how at the end, you notice, like, how touchy Kyo is with Toru, and you realize it's
Mhm.
because, like, dude, he's been, like, touch-starved his whole life because, he couldn't hug anyone, and, like, because of his, like, other demon in him. I'm gonna call it for demon for lack of a better word, in him, but then also not being able to hug anyone because of, like, the curse, quote, unquote. So then, like, now he finally can, he, like, does it any chance he gets, and, like, to the person who loves him back, and I'm just like, "I love you. You guys are so
So
wholesome."
cute. I know. I'm so happy for them. I'm so glad that it ended the way that it did and, like, it was told very well, I
Yeah.
think the story.
I
I
mean
feel like I didn't have an appreciation for it back then because I was not so into shoujo back then
mm.
as, like, shonen, and also, like, the art style was, like, really strange to me at that time. I think my
The curse
first
art!
shoujo the curse art! And then also there was only English dub back then, and the dub was so annoying, I couldn't handle it.
Oh, I've never watched it in English dub, but, man, it just
Eh, really?
yeah, it was, like, one of the first mangas I think, like, I finished too, like, in full. Like, it's just so good for all characters, like, even Toru, like, she's, like, the happy character that's, like, super polite and everything, but did you
Yeah.
watch, like, yeah, so I think yeah, the movie is where they show the parent story, right?
Yeah.
So you really get her backstory and how it's, like, she's not, like I mean, I'm not saying she isn't, but, like, she's not just a nice character who, like, wants to take care of everyone. It's kinda, like, due to trauma because
Yeah.
she had to be, like, the one to keep her mom happy after her dad passed, and it was, like, her fault, and, like, being alienated from the family. Like, she had to put on this front and be this perfect person, even though she was, like she's actually very, like, selfish in a way. Like, there's things she wants, but, like, she like I think of the Japanese word, but what is it? She holds back because
Uh-huh.
she knows other people need things more, and she puts others before herself while sacrificing herself, even though it makes her
Mhm.
unhappy. So I hate it when people are always like, "Oh, she's so happy and she gets to do all these things." Like, they make her seem so kind, and it's like there's this third dimension to her. I'm
Yeah.
probably not explaining it well in words. I'm really bad at explaining myself, but, like, this aspect to her that I really enjoy seeing it shown when you get to see, like, her backstory and how she grows up and, like, what a loving family I mean, not to say she didn't grow up in a loving family, but, like, what she could have had, especially if her dad was still alive.
Yeah. And then I think what the important part is to show how it could really shape you and understanding that everyone has their own circumstances, not always
Mm,
seen just from the outside, right? From the
yeah.
outside, she's just a happy-go-lucky, kind person, like, and everyone assumed that maybe those kind of people haven't been through hardship. But it's like, again, the people who've been through the hardship the most are the one who don't want others to go through the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like we're always what was it, the quote? It's just like, "People can only love to the capacity they love themselves, and
Mm,
people can only communicate to the level of their healed trauma," or something?
mm,
It was like that, something like that, I don't know, along that line, where I it really made me understand because you can tell a lot about a person based on how they're interacting with others, how they perceive themselves, and you can tell, like, there's a lotta story behind, and I like Toru too. I feel like definitely I demonized her type of character when I was younger, and I think it had to do with a lot of internalized misogyny,
mm,
right? Of just like, "Oh, women should be strong, women should, like, do this and that, we shouldn't be like this," but her character is, like, really, really nice to show, like, the nice side of femininity, where it's, like, kindness and, like, patience and understanding can really
mm.
change people, and that's kinda more the energy we need in the world, not so much of, like, the really aggressive and, like, forceful way that I think a lot of people kinda are used to interacting and behaving, and I think that's something that Japan does really well,
Mm.
'cause then they're very patient and they really value those kind of, characteristic in people.
Characteristics. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like so on that side, you mentioned I know you've like mentioned this before too, where it's like how you had this internalized kind of like misogyny and that
Mhm.
you didn't really like the characters that were like kind of soft because they didn't seem just straight up, standing up for themselves. And that can be like frustrating, especially as I guess as a person who is a female feeling like just as a woman, you want to be like stand up for yourself. Don't just like sit around and let people push you around. So makes me ask like how do you feel her kind of foil of is it, Akito? Is that her name?
How do I feel?
The other head of the family, who she was like
Oh.
she was almost like a brat in a sense, but had to go her way
Mhm.
because she's the head of the family. But she did stand up for herself. Like it was always her way or the highway. She didn't let
Yeah,
people.
I felt like she was so selfish, and
Mm,
it was one of those characters that, like, I had to really reconcile that some people it's kinda like some people are the product of their circumstance,
mm,
but in her case, it was more like she used her circumstance to be a certain type of person as well. Does that make
mm.
sense?
Yeah,
To her
yeah.
advantage. Whereas some people fight against their fate and, like, their situations and stuff, I felt like she really moved into it and tried to utilize it to the best of her advantage. Right? In, like, a very forceful so I don't really like the way that she operated, and I think even in the end, everyone's, like, very forgiving, very kind, and I think that's how people should be,
Mm,
but there is a part of me that is still so bitter about the whole situation. And I'm like, "Cool, I'm glad we can move on. I'm glad you're changed for the better." But also what the injustice of it all. How could you do all of these terrible things? Like, it's just I don't know, you chose that. That was a conscious decision. Like, even though you've been, like, blinded and hurt and, like, traumatized and everything, you still have a choice, and I think that's an important message
mm,
to give, you know? Like,
mm.
you have a choice to do better. And even if you don't do better, I guess it's good that you will be forgiven, but I don't know. For me, I'm like, I want to see more change. I wanted to see more, like, I don't know, consequences.
But it's like in that sense, I guess it's like we want to see consequences, but what for? Like, wouldn't you rather see them? I guess,
Healed
yeah, and then do
and
better
happy.
and prevent, and more so to
Yeah,
prevent it happen from anyone else in the future. Like stop the
yeah.
chain, because I guess for her, it's also knowing that it's like, well, she was being manipulative of her situation. I guess there's two things. One is like, think of was it the dog was his name Shirogane? No, it wasn't Shirogane. Something I forget his name, but the dog one, the writer, like he totally
A
like
writer.
the one whose house everyone stays at.
Oh, Shigure.
Yeah, Shigure. There we go.
Oh, he was a little shit
Yeah,
too.
like
That motherfucker. Same
he.
voice actor as Gojo.
That's why. We go. So, how he was like, he basically manipulated her whole life because he loved her and he used it as like, I don't know. And he comes off as like, the kind character, but he's really like one of the worst.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting how they like tried to portray that and show that. But like,
I think in terms of evil, conscious evil, he's much worse
yeah.
than Akito, and Akito has done a lot of terrible things, but Shigure was conscious and an adult, you know? Like, Akito's still a kid,
Yeah,
still had
yeah.
time to grow, and, like, like, Shigure is an adult, and he's a freaking toxic ass
But he
motherfucker.
was doing it even when they were kids. Like as soon as they met, remember he's like, "I'll be with you forever." They were
So
literally
he was
kids.
just a very flawed character, and I don't think
I mean,
it
they're
needs so
all
much of a
flawed.
consequence since I want to see the more, like, repent and,
Mm.
like, more active action to make things right for the people around you. You
Yeah.
know, like, I didn't see
Yeah.
that so much, I felt like everyone kinda moved on really quickly from that, which is fine, but it's just, like, I wanted to see Akito more active in the role of you know? But
Mm.
maybe it's just it needs time, they all need time to kinda heal and,
Yeah.
like it wouldn't be good for her to step in and be like, "By the way, I'm sorry," when they're like, "I don't wanna see your face. Your face traumatized me," you know?
I mean,
So maybe everyone just needs a little bit of time.
I think that's true. But they just didn't have time in the series to show that. Like at the end, they kind of show she's on her way to healing and like doing that, and that's why her and Toru are like friends at the end. Like they hang out and like she's working on it, you know. And after all their
Yeah.
bonds break. But then on my second question is like you mentioned how like she's what's the word, selfish, and then
Mhm.
she uses that to her advantage. But I'm like, is that necessarily a bad thing given the situation she was in? Like I don't know. For me as like being put in those situations, I'm like, is that almost a double standard? Like, would guys be put to that standard too? It like made me think
Mm.
of the whole like when a woman asks for like something or is like a boss in a situation, you know, and they like give orders or something. I'd be like, you need to do this and that. They're seen as like bossy and like rude, and you know, like people don't like her. But if a guy does it, no one really questions it. It's like, oh yeah, that's like manly and like, oh, he's taking charge, you know, kind of.
Oh, taking charge. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. I think I was talking more in the sense of her, like, understanding that these people have to, like, it's in their genetics to obey her and love her and all of that stuff,
Mm.
and she's just, like, constantly, like, trying to get rid of everyone around them
Mm.
to make sure that they can only rely on her
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah,
kind of
for sure.
thing.
Like, not that that was right or that, but I was just wondering, like, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. Right? I'm just
Mhm.
curious, like, if a guy did it, how would it be seen? Would it be seen in the same way?
Yeah, it's still toxic and manipulative and, like, exploitive. I think if anything, it's worse. I'd be like, "Bro." 'Cause then I feel like with her, at least, she doesn't have the strength and that kind of fear,
Mm,
the physical fear
mm,
that it might come versus a guy
mm,
who is, like, trying to force his way or force people to love him, right?
mm. Man,
Yeah, I think it would be way more intimidating and scary
I guess I just
if
wonder
it
about
was a
it
guy.
since, like, especially the whole basis of the show was like her having to pretend that she was a dude, right?
Mhm.
So, like, yeah, I guess that's
That's so annoying too, like, it's just messed up. It's just the whole thing is
the whole
messed up,
story's messed
and
up.
I feel like it's, like, almost kinda generational trauma too, like, with her mom,
uh, like,
right?
well, can you speak more on that? Like, what do you think?
What I forgot, but wasn't her mom the one who, like, abused her?
Yeah.
Or was, like, really, like, abusive after her dad died? Or, like and was really, like, jealous and, like, thought, her dad was, like, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
That's, like, kinda weird and creepy to me. But it does talk in the real world that it does happen. I forgot what
Mm.
it's called in psychology where, like, the mother would see the daughter as a competition
Mm.
for the father's affection?
Mm. I didn't know there's a name for
I
it, but
forgot.
I know like that concept. I've heard of it.
Yeah. Is it the Freudian? No.
Freud's and everything.
Something like that.
But I mean,
Oedipus?
No,
Oedipus complex?
Oedipal is when
Oedipus?
Oedipal complex is when the son loves the mother and like would kill the father over it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's like that in, like, reverse, but it's definitely a common theme. And it's interesting that they even show that because I feel like it's not normally discussed, but I feel like this author in general does a very good job at, like, exploring different levels of trauma, so there's, like, a
Yeah.
kinda story that everyone can kinda relate to, and then they can show them how they've kinda, like, gotten over it. So it's like showing representation so you feel like you're heard and not alone in your
Mm.
struggle and pain, but also, like, "Look, this character can get past it, and so can you." There's, like, hope, you know?
I think
And
that's
that's why
like
it's such a, like, a wholesome series and everyone is, like, can hold dear in their heart.
I think that's like why it's one of my favorite series and why I love like
Mhm.
anime so much in general because I feel like it's a very good
Mhm.
medium to like show those kind of things, whereas I don't see that in a lot of other shows
Yeah.
or to the extent where I can really connect. That's
Yeah.
like one reason why I really miss longer series. Like, it's so sad now to see series that are only like a season or two because you cannot really connect with characters in that amount of time. And as much as I hate to say it, like long series where everyone will complain, like, yeah, fillers kind of suck, but even without the fillers, like, there's like a lot of buildup of things that are seemingly like meaningless, right? Like, this is such a boring episode, nothing happened. But then you realize when it comes to like the climax or like certain points of like fruition where things are actually happening, like you needed those episodes of connection of just like mundaneness to really
Mhm.
connect with the characters and feel for them. And that's why those like climax points feel so much more like you can connect more and really are more enjoyable. And then especially when they go on like longer journeys and there's more than one of those points, all these things add up and just make it so much better. And
Mhm.
we like don't see that much in anime now, and it makes me so sad because that was one of my favorite parts. It's like why I love One Piece so much and why like Naruto was so good. Like Naruto versus Boruto is like such a prime example of like just being
Mhm.
long isn't good. Whereas like
Yeah.
Boruto, I think like they said over half of it is literally fillers. And even the ones that aren't fillers, I feel like they're still fillers because like nothing happens. There's literally nothing. Like, and then Naruto, you literally have the first arc with like Zabuza and was it Haku? Was it Haku?
Yeah, Haku.
That whole thing, I still cry at that. I've rewatched that and cried, and that was like
Yeah.
the first 10 episodes or something.
It's well done too, and then the characters all have depth, and, like, you have that little scene, with Haku and Naruto in the forest,
Yeah.
before all of that happens, so and then each episode is so long, the fights drag out so long, but because of that, during that time, you can really explore the different layers of the character, the interaction, and it just becomes more meaningful, and just, like, even the scene of at the end of, the Fruits Basket movie, and Toru and, like, Kyo just, like, shopping or they got treats from their workplace, it's just,
Yeah.
like, just, like, the most it's like, "Oh, I got this at work. Oh, I got this at work," and it's just, like, so cute. And then you're just happy for them to be able to have such, like, simple things, and you're able to appreciate such simple things because
I
you
love
understand
it.
what they've been through.
I love it.
I know, and then back to that, I think, like, also, how we talked about Toru and how she was, like, tries to be very selfless and, like, all of this thing, and in the end, she's like, "No, I still want you, Kyo, and I want
Mm.
you, and, like, and I'm sorry I'm not a good girl, but I want you."
Mm.
So that was, like, kinda her
Damn, the way
character
you said
development of
the
just,
way you
like
said that was like, I'm not a good girl, but I want you. I
Okay,
want
but
the
why you
bad
gotta
boys.
Okay, but he is a bad
Can
boy,
we just
okay?
redo
Okay.
Toru with like this bad girl image and then
No, please!
is
Okay,
this the
the only one
Misa and Light?
No, no, no. The only one I didn't really understand and I didn't really relate so much to is, again, like, the girl that is into Yuki and how he starts to like her. Because that just seems
Oh
like, "Oh,
yeah.
we just want Yuki to have somebody because his love didn't work out." And I don't like that. I feel like they just threw in a character that we didn't get to see the build-up as much. We just know that she just doesn't like perfect things, and
I
I don't
think
know, I just
I think it
didn't
was
like it as much.
deeper than that because I think they brought her in as like a what's the word? Like almost a foil to I don't even know if it's a foil, but like to Toru to really show that like Yuki's love for Toru was never romantic. It was motherly, even if he never realized it.
Mhm.
It's like his own experience with his family gave him so much trauma, but like Toru was able to be like the mother figure to him that he never had. So when he gets that kind of love and that kind of caring, like he couldn't explain what that love was. And then the way the audience sees it, they can't explain it either because he does. If he's not clear on it, how are we gonna be clear? Because we only see it through kind of like his lens, right? We never see it through like hers. So I think they bring in that character to really show that like this is his romantic love versus this is his motherly love, you know?
I see. It's just confusing to me because in that moment, I was just like I felt like it was just, like, a throw-in rather than, like, a built-up, and she was there in the beginning and, like, all of this stuff?
Mm.
It's just I don't know, I don't like it when they do that, like, not all characters
Yeah, I feel
need somebody
it can feel like a
romantically.
cop out.
Like yeah, like, not every single character needs to pair up, otherwise, like, dead,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
We don't need a partner, okay? People can be alone and it's fine. They can be content.
right? Because if you think about it, every single character has somebody.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Like normalize being alone. It's okay.
Oh my god, one of my favorite is definitely is it the seahorse guy?
The dragon?
The dragon?
I love that he turns into like a seahorse. It's so
Yeah,
cute.
it's so cute. What's his name?
Um,
Oh
um,
my
he's
god.
the doctor, right?
Was
Doctor was the
yeah,
dragon. God,
yeah.
I should know this because I like him.
Starts with an A? Was it?
Uh,
No? No?
Hattori.
Hattori! Oh my god, he made me so sad. Definitely one of my favorite character, even though, like, his character type is not usually the one that I like. He's so, like, good. He's such a good boy.
He's like that good friend, even though he's just like, I hate my friends, but he still hangs out with them. It's like they're still my friends.
Oh
His
my god, he's
story.
the Nanami to Shigure.
It's true.
Oh my god. It's so funny, and if only they had, Kento? What is it? Ken? What is his name? The one who voiced Nanami?
I don't know.
Suru Ken. If they had Suru Ken voice, Ayato, it would have been hilarious
Oh
because
my
it
god.
truly would be Gojo and Nanami.
Oh my god. Damn, Hattori's story was like gets me too. I'm so happy for him though that he was able to like go through all that he went through and still move on and be like
Mhm.
happy and like I don't know. It sucks for him because like he's faced with it every day. Like that's the
Yeah,
worst part of it.
it's so sad. It was I think his story was one of my favorite.
Mm.
Um, oh, looks-wise though, I feel like the character who is the character that is ends up with, Toru's friend, the blonde one?
Oh, the rooster.
Was it the rooster?
It's the rooster. The one
Oh,
who's
okay, because 'cause I've never seen
Akito's
him
like
transform.
it's cuz he broke his like what's it, the bond. And that was the reason he
Oh,
has to stay with
oh.
Akito because she's like,
He
"Oh
was the
no."
first one.
Yeah, that's why he always has to stay with her because she's like, "No, you can't leave me," right? Because they know,
Mhm.
and that's why you never see him as a rooster.
Oh, I see, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, and I think he's hot as hell, and he's
Yeah,
so
he is.
sweet, but
He is.
again, I think him and, like, the friend thing was feeling kinda forced to me too.
I'm also like,
It
what are
didn't
their ages? Like, how old are they?
literally, and then the way they came together, I'm just like, this is kinda suspicious. I wouldn't, like, 10 out of 10 would not, you know?
I think that's like a big thing for anime too, where I'm just like, can we stop with the high school girls with like the adults? Like, I feel like
Oh my god.
okay, I can separate fictional and non-fictional, right? But it's still like when you're older and you notice it more, it does bother you more because you're like more aware of it and how like
Mhm.
that's not okay. And I'm just like, I want to
Yeah.
enjoy this, but I can't help but see that this is like,
A
my
problem?
God, yeah. Because it's like the thing, like, I've seen people, it's like, I guess when you're like, okay, if you're like 16 or something and you're dating someone who's like, what, 25, you're like, wow, they're
Mhm.
older and like, damn. Then when you turn like 25 yourself, you'd be like, dude, I don't want to date anyone younger than 21. And even
Right?
then, you're like, this is kind of weird. So to imagine anything
Right?
like older than that or anything already, you're just like, I don't know, man.
I find it weird, and then at that point, you're like, "There's nothing that we can relate to." So it's like it's just like dating, like, a little child, essentially, or someone who hasn't, like, grown mentally yet, so
I
then
think
they're still, out there having fun, doing their own thing, you know? So it's, like, hard to converse and hard to connect deeply. So I find it really suspicious when I see a super young girl with a really old dude.
I think there are things you can connect on and there are instances where it can work out, but in general,
Mhm.
what's more concerning to me is like that you're in different parts of your life. And when you're younger, that should be the part of your life when you're trying things out and like learning about yourself and about other
Yeah.
people. And when you get into a relationship with someone older, it tends to be the older people have already gone through that phase.
Yeah.
So they already like know what they want and what they're looking for. And that's why they're kind of in a position to manipulate others too. Because
Ugh,
they like
it's
and they have like security in their life and that's what kind of what makes them attractive, but that's also why it's like a red flag because
a
they
red flag.
they want to like control the other person's life and kind of make it the same as theirs when that person is at a different part in their life and they shouldn't be in that position and them not realizing
Yeah.
it and thinking it's like, oh, they just love me, that's why they are saying this is why they keep controlling me or like that. So
It's very
yeah,
toxic and very manipulative, and I think it's scary to me because it's like, of course, they if the people around your age don't want you, so you have to keep dating younger 'cause they don't know what they want,
yeah, they
and
don't
it's
know any
just
better.
It's like those, super senior in high school who keeps coming back to high school,
Oh my god.
even though they're, like, in college, just, like, every single year for the new freshmen. I
Dude,
find that so creepy, and during
it's
that time, they're like,
creepy.
"Oh, they just wanna make friends," and, "Oh my god, this cool college kid can drive me around and buy me food," like,
Ah!
that's so cool, you know? And but then, like, I don't know, it's just so creepy and manipulative.
It is. And then when you're like, it's so weird because like you don't realize it when you are younger. And that's saying it as someone who's been younger
Yeah,
and like been in that position. And
yeah.
then everyone tells you the same thing, like we'd be saying right now. And you'd be like, oh, they're just being paranoid. It's like, whatever, like not in my situation. And it's like, no, yes, in your situation too. Sorry to tell you. Like, there are rare exceptions, but like, I'd say 99% of the time, there's something off. And even
Yeah.
in the ones that do work out, I still kind of feel like something's off because, like, I don't know.
There's still a power play.
Yeah.
There's still, like, a power dynamic that's not really there, and if one person isn't, like, and I also feel like this is a thing that I've noticed too. People who get into a relationship and are in constant state of being with someone, I
Mm.
feel like it's kinda an escape for them to not work on themselves and, like, really figure out themselves,
Mm.
Because 'Cause
Mm.
they're so occupied living with someone else and, like, living that reality with someone else. And
Mm.
then so if they're just constantly jumping from relationship to relationship and not really developing a relationship with themselves and really knowing what they want, it just becomes like, "Oh, who was the next person who is like, will
Mm.
stay with me?"
Mm.
It's just like codependent almost,
Mm. It also makes me
and
sorry, go on.
oh, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because of like it also makes me wonder about like the pregnancy thing because it's like, oh, you're only able to get like pregnant up until a certain age, right? Like just
Mhm,
physically. And I know like nowadays it's becoming more common to have other options because especially women are working more and like want the option,
mhm.
but maybe aren't sure yet. So you can like freeze
Yeah,
your eggs, but that's expensive.
yeah.
So, but the thing is, like, when older guys get with younger girls, I'm always of that mindset. I'm like, are they trying to just get like a healthy baby? Like, and that sucks to like, that's like manipulative and just like, because like if a girl has a baby at a young age, it's like her baby, right? No
Mhm.
matter what happens with her and the guy. And I know a lot of guys would be like, oh, I want a kid. And then they realize they don't want a kid. Or like if something happens, who gets the baby and who's actually going to take care of the kid? And just all these things come to mind where I'm like, the girl has so much more to lose than the guy.
Yeah.
So,
And I also in that case too, I feel like people who I don't know if society has just kind of brainwashed us into that mindset as well, where like, yeah, it's just natural for men to be predator. It's natural for men to, you
the
know,
fuck?
go after younger women and all of that stuff because they're more fertile, all of this stuff. And of course, like men should be able to date 13-year-old because they just got their period, whatever. But they also don't talk about the fact that men after 35, their sperm count decline like rapidly. So, like and then also,
How
what is
did you
it?
come
It's not
about this
healthy
bit of
either.
info? Where did you find this bit of
I
info?
literally found it online because it was just, like, a lot of misinformation, and I was like, "Is that really true that women are not as fertile after 35?" It's a very similar with men too.
Mm.
There's also a decline, but it's not normalized and it's not talked about in society because they're just trying to sell you one narrative, you know?
But I mean, I guess is it for guys? It's like the sperm count goes down, but then for girls, I think it's like a matter of quality. Is there a
Mhm. It's
quality of?
quality as well.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. We're just like. It's also gonna be. I
And
just
then they talk about like, "Oh, yeah, and gotta have, like, the strongest swimmer, blah, 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 all this stuff." But, like, they don't
Michael Phelps
talk
sperm.
about yeah, they don't talk about how much work the egg has and how much larger the egg is compared to the sperm, and how the women's body actually it's not the sperm that was chosen or whatever, and the sperm that was, like, was able to fertilize the egg, it's the egg that chose the sperm. So, usually, it's when the egg allows the strongest sperm to come in, will
Hmm.
the egg actually be fertilized. If it's not, then they're just all gonna die out
So,
because it's like, you know? So they're like, "Yeah, it's like this whole journey," but in reality, it's like, "Yeah, we chose that one. That
so,
one might be a good
so
one."
you're saying in all those instances when the woman doesn't get pregnant, it's just like the woman being like, "Bitch, you weren't good enough.
"You weren't good
You
enough. Come
weren't
back
good
next
enough.
time."
Yeah, come back next time when you trained.
Like, "Oh, the quality?
You got a
Not
month to
today."
train."
Even the freaking our eggs are more picky. 'Cause again, like you said, it is a lot of commitment. It's a long term. It's like not only like 6, 9 months, but like the effect afterward, your teeth can fall out, your bone mass
Yeah.
like decline rapidly, you can develop diabetes. There's so many risks and like it's a health risk, you know?
Yeah.
Versus the guy's just like, "All right, well, I'm done."
Yeah, I'm done. I'm out. And that's just like for yourself and not even thinking about like the kid at once it gets out. Just so many.
Oh my gosh, so many things, and then, like, the kid needs, you know, all the time and attention to grow up properly, or you're gonna raise a psychopath, and there's, like, the risk of, you know.
And this is why so
Oh
many
my
of us
god.
have just chosen where we're like, oh, so many people choose not to have kids. And it's like,
Yeah.
don't argue with people who say they don't want to have kids. Just let them be, you know? And even if they do want to change their mind, they'll change their mind then. Why is it any of your
Mhm.
business?
It's honestly they always say the people who are the ones who are very adamant on not having kids tend to be the one who should be having kids,
I-
because they are the one who understand the risk and, like, all of
Yeah.
the po responsibility and, like, all of the, you know, things that are involved that they are making a conscious decision not to, are the ones who should be,
It's like, it's because they're
versus
thinking
the
of
one
all the
who's just
things.
doing it because, yeah, they think it's the next step. Because I've seen that people do that where they just kinda, like, follow the step of society where it's like, "I have to get a boyfriend, I
Mm,
have to get married, I have to have a nice house, I have to have kids," and, like, I'm sure it is a dream for some people to do that, but I don't know how much of it is their dream versus society has pushed that
mm,
idea onto them, and they feel, like, unfulfilled
yeah.
unless they achieve that.
Yeah. It's like, just, you know, do what makes you happy. And like, it's your life, not no one else's. So live it how you want. If other people are telling you to do things, maybe they should be the one doing them. They have their own life to live.
I also think people who, like, are into anime also are, like, pretty fulfilled in the sense where, like, a lot of experience like, I can experience these characters' happiness and not be like, "Oh, I want that for myself," like, you know, like, of course I
Yeah.
want that for myself, but also I'm happy just to be able to experience what it's like, you know? It's kinda like
Yeah.
reading a really nice book and you're like, "Wow, that was really nice," and, you know, it'd be really nice if that happened in the future, but also, I'm glad I was able to experience that because 'cause I'm just, like, so I feel like, you know, like, Sama
Mm.
after seeing, like, Kyo and, like, you know,
You
Kyo
just
and,
feel
like
whole.
yeah, and they're just so, like, happy together, you're just like, "Ah, I feel like I've eaten my fill."
I'm also like, it's okay to say no if you know you're not gonna get something out of it that you know you want. You know, like that's why I'm very
Mhm,
adamant about like it's okay to be alone because like why waste your time and money on someone else when you really don't feel that way about them. You know, like
mhm,
I that's for me when I see people who are like constantly dating, trying to find someone. Like,
mhm,
I mean, if that's they're comfortable with that, it's their lives. I'm like more power to them. But for me, it's like I can't imagine myself doing that because I just don't care that much. Like, if you find
yeah,
the right person, you find the right person. But if you don't, like, why would you put all this time and effort into something that's just like whatever? Like, I hate seeing people settle, you know, just because they have
yeah.
to, quote unquote,
I
have to.
again, I'm telling you, it's just like, "Oh, I have to get a boyfriend, I have to get a girlfriend," when they don't realize that they can find fulfillment elsewhere,
And
and
that isn't.
also, like
Sorry. Go on, go on.
oh, go ahead.
No, no,
Oh,
go.
and also, like, I feel like once you oh my god, the worst part is, like, once you break up with them, that certain places or music or certain things will always
Mm.
remind you of a certain person who's no longer your life, you know, it's like you know how it's like and then or like when you have a friend who's, like, no longer your life, you're just like, "Oh my god," every little thing kinda reminds you of them, and it's
Mm.
just like, not all pleasant memories, some are, you know, and overall, it was, like, a good experience, but it's like, why would you want that for everything?
Yeah.
Because some places for me is forever ruined
I
because I can't go
I
there
can I
without
feel
thinking
that.
about that
I
person.
have
Yeah, you know what I
definitely
mean?
yeah, I've definitely had that happen to me where it's just like I can't experience this the same way anymore because now I just hate it because of things
Mhm.
that might have one time been good. Now it's like literally the opposite. Thin line between
Oh
love and
my
hate.
god, it's anime too. It's like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, it was this person's favorite anime." You know, like, oh, like,
Yeah.
oh, and I have to, like, reconcile with that, but again, that's why I think it's so important to, like, build on yourself because, like, in the end, like, who are you gonna have? Yourself. And, like, even with friends, you still have good memories with friends or, like, and I
Mm,
feel like society, again, pushes too much romantic love.
mm,
Like, all the songs, all of the books, all of the media, all about romantic love when I
mm.
feel like they don't emphasize how important to just have a diverse, like, family and also community and also friendship
So
and
much,
love, like,
so much.
everything. Then, like, when that one person your lover isn't, like, with you anymore, or your boyfriend or girlfriend isn't with you anymore, your whole world doesn't come tumbling down because you have hobbies, you have interests, you have family, you have
No,
friends outside of
it's
them.
literally like the stock market. You need to diversify in case one thing goes down so that you're safe on all other fronts, you know? You aren't just fucking dying. It's literally that. That's why it's so frustrating when I see people who just like put their 100% into like a romantic relationship and then something bad happens
Mhm.
there and they have no one else because they like literally did not keep up any of their other relationships. And it's frustrating
Oh my
too when
god.
you're like one of the friends or you're like one of the family and they fall off the map because like what are you supposed to do? Like even when you call them hang out, you just get like rejected and it's just like frustrating because like you're a person too, right? You're just
Mhm.
like,
Or it comes with a 2-for-1 deal
yeah,
now.
the
Oh my
worst.
god. I know, it's your trigger.
Is my trigger because I'm like, I'm not necessarily friends with your significant other, or like if I'm hanging out, maybe I just want to hang out with you, you know? And I like,
The dynamic changes too, like, when another person's there, like,
yeah,
certain jokes they wouldn't get, and you would have to explain it to them, or you feel like you can't be yourself because you don't really know them that well, it's
yeah,
just uncomfortable.
yeah. And it's like, I get it if your friend wants them to be like included, but in that case, they should be planning like some kind of other thing where you all can get to know each other and not like make it like your on the onus on you to like include their significant other, you know? Because it's like, they're not
Mhm.
my significant other. But
And then once they break up, then you're just like, "Great. I built all that time and friendship for nothing."
yeah, I can't deal with it. But it's also I think like the biggest thing to me is that one time I read, I think it was like a Reddit thread too, where they were like, if I share something with you, does that mean you share it with like your significant other? Because like for me personally, if I share something with you, I'm sharing it with you. That's it. And then there was this other side saying like, oh, if you share it with me, expect that it'll be said to my significant other because they're like one person essentially, and like don't expect it to be a secret. So I'm like, that's isn't that messed up?
It's weird, I'm telling you. Everyone just, like, are so obsessed with merging into one, and they just wanna be like one entity. It's creepy.
Maybe it's like us. We just want to merge into like one brain cell. 'Cause, like,
That's different. I feel like that's different. I feel like we can't operate unless we are one brain cell, okay? Some people can and they choose to.
but yeah. Oh man, we've been talking for a while now. I think we should probably end off here. We got lots of talking in.
We got too excited because it's the first the 11th episode,
We
okay?
finally made it.
I know. Oh my god, I can't believe we're already in the double digits. What are the chances? Well, we hope you enjoyed the, podcast today. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. I'm Kane,
And I myself.
and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.